Oh yeah, what's up, y'all? Welcome to the Soccer Comic Rant. My name is Ian Edwards, and thank you, Aaron Brungardt, the producer, for hooking this up. If you're listening to the podcast, you're listening on or at Omni Studio, allthingscomedy.com, and if you go to allthingscomedy.com, you will see that there's other podcasts there from some of the best comics in America, and some of the comedians that have their own podcast there is Melissa Villasenora. She's on SNL. Some dude named Bill Burr has two podcasts there. He has the Monday podcast and the another podcast with Bert Kreischer.
It's
Eric
three
Griffin.
podcasts.
Holy shit! What's the third one?
Anything Better with Paul Verzi.
Anything Better with Paul Verzi. Damn, Jesus Christ! See, there's so many podcasts on here. I don't even know all the podcasts. Eric Griffin has a podcast on there. Eleanor Carrigan has a podcast on there. And then if I list all the names of the podcasts, my podcast will be over and you won't be able to hear my podcast. So I'm just going to stop there. Go to allthingscomedy.com. Also, this podcast, if you want to listen, is available at iTunes. And if you're watching, like and subscribe on YouTube. Comment, we'll respond back. And there's been some very interesting comments from people, and it's good to get the feedback and see where people are at. And let me go back to the screen of the Zoom, and let me do a little share screen thing, and not a share screen thing. Oh yeah, Aaron's got to able the share screen, so I can.
Should be good now.
Boom, and let me go to this screen. And go to the screen for onthevolleyapparel.com, and then you can see our merch. And we got 3 T-shirts. They're $30 to $32. Come in all sizes at onthevolleyapparel.com. So that's the sponsor, and we got merch. Order from them. And if you want to order other stuff from them, use my promo code Comic Rant. And and I'll leave the link for the merch under the description stuff in the video. So let me do the stop share, go back to the screen. And I think that's it. I just want to introduce everybody. We got Lee Hudson, stand-up comic from England, Southampton fan in the building. They getting points in the Premier League, even if it's one at a time. They chipping away and not being relegated. They haven't won a game in probably almost a decade now, but fuck it, they still in it. What up, Lee? When was the last time y'all won a game?
I think it was like April or something. It's
of last year, right?
Yeah. Hey, I mean, we've got Man City this week, so who knows? Could be the first 3 points.
Go Southampton.
That's hilarious. Also on the podcast is actor comedian Martin Harris, who is American by way of Poland, and he's a Spurs fan. And Martin, it's crazy that you didn't start Harry Kane, or he didn't play this weekend.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately he played against Poland, so he hurt my feelings a little bit in that game. So I need to give him some time to find love for him again.
To get back to Spurs. All right.
Yeah.
I think you didn't understand what I was saying, but I'll get back to that. And we have Neil Chakravarty, who's only giving us some of his profile, but that's cool. That's a dope ass shirt you got on. And Neil is a comic who lives in San Diego by way of India, and you could tell by that gear that he's got on that he's a Chelsea fan. It's a dope one. What up, Neil?
Hey, how's it going?
That was the least enthusiastic, trying to be enthusiastic what's up I've ever heard, but it's all good. You should be ecstatic. You're a Chelsea fan. You got Lukaku, who is the Darth Vader of football. He just comes in, casts a shadow on whatever team he's playing, and muscles them and finesses them, and he is an absolute monster. You got him at the perfect stage of his career. for the third time, and he's already paying dividends. And you guys won in Champions League today. I think you played Zenit.
Played Zenit. Nothing really happened much except for that goal. But yeah,
you got the points. Like,
yeah,
a lot of stuff happened into the Man United game. We didn't get the points.
Neil seems relieved. Guess what would happen if they lost to a Russian team in front of Roman?
Oh yeah, that's another.
Well, there was this one guy who was like, he almost took Mendy out, and I'm like, you gonna tell Roman that Kepa has now got to play for the rest of the season? Is that really what you want on your conscience as a Russian player?
By the way, just to clarify for those who don't know football very well and listen to this podcast, the Mendy that plays for Chelsea is not the Mendy that is in jail. That's a different Mendy.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I don't think you have to clarify that. I know why.
Yeah, I think we have a niche enough audience anyway.
Yeah. I think the people are listening know. So here's the thing. Last weekend in the Premier League, we're going to talk Champions League and Premier League. And last weekend in the Premier League was Ronaldo's first game. And he scored 2 goals, and we beat Newcastle. And I was rolling into the podcast today on the momentum of that. Plus, we're in the group stages of the Champions League, and all we got is Young Boys. And it's the weakest team in the group. And I was like, boom, Ronaldo's going to score again. We're going to beat Young Boys. And I can come to the podcast like just full of victory and the fact that we won 2 games with our brand new old Ronaldo. And now we start the podcast, and Manchester United lost 2-1 to Young Boys. And it's like somebody told me, this is how I feel on the podcast. I feel like somebody told me my dad died in the middle of an orgasm on my wedding night. So let's just clear up this Man United thing too. Here's the number one thing about this. I did not see the game. I thought that the game was going to start at 12. So I went out and took care of my errands, came back, and I was watching the Golazo version of the Champions League games where they just jump from each game. It's like NFL Red Zone, and they keep you up to date. And they normally have the timing to get to each game when something is going to happen. And at the bottom of the screen, I saw the Man U scores. I was like, what, we played already? And then in the post-match thing, I saw some of the details of how we lost. Like there was a sending off. We scored first. Solskjaer made changes when he thought the game was in hand, and those changes came back to bite us. But I don't know the exact order of events. So if anybody wants to volunteer what happened, I would love Martin would raise his hands first. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, before I go to this, I need to give credit to your win over Newcastle. We watched the game together, and it was a well-played game. Ronaldo really showed his value on the first game, and he showed his value on the second game too, because he started a goal. It was a great anticipation. He waved a hand, and then he went, in front of the defender and scored a goal. So he did his job. Who didn't do his job? I'll tell you. Jadon Sancho, unfortunately, so far very slow start for United, and he didn't do his job, although they replaced him before even the end of the halftime, which also tells you something. Van de Beek.
No, they didn't replace him.
They did on 30-something minute.
Oh, today or?
Yeah, today.
Oh, okay. I didn't see today.
Van de Beek started today, and he played poorly, and he was replaced in the halftime. So some players got a chance.
So Martin, you're confusing me. Like you're talking about Saturday.
Yeah, I just gave credit. I just gave credit for Saturday, but now I'm moving on to.
But I asked you a question. Like, what happened today?
And this is what I'm talking about. Some players got chances, and they didn't use their opportunity, like Van der Beek, unfortunately. Sancho,
but Martin, here's the question: what was the order of events of today's game? If somebody, that's like if you can't answer that, somebody else should just tell me.
Okay, Ronaldo scored a goal.
Right.
Then the game was kind of even. Then Wan-Bissaka, I would say, was kind of a little bit unlucky, but it was a terrible foul he did. It was an unlucky intervention. He was late, but it was a terrible foul, and he got a red card. Mm-hmm. And since that,
what minute did that happen at?
30-something minutes.
35.
And since then, Young Boys completely dominated the game. They had almost 20 shots on goal. And
so let me ask you a question. When did Sancho and who got substituted? So when did Ronaldo get substituted out the game?
Pretty
I don't
late,
remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember Van der Beek and Sancho.
Let me go to the
substituted because they were not playing well at all.
I kind of felt bad for Van de Beek because I mean he was not playing well, that's true, but I mean he's getting his chance after so long, and then because of the red card, he had
it's
to be
not
the
just because of the red
sacrificial.
card. He didn't have to be. Sancho was the one they sacrificed. Yeah, Van der Beek could continue playing. He was just not good. He was just not good.
So who did they sacrifice? Let me see if I can see it on this thing. So
they brought Dalot and
Haaland.
they brought Varane.
Yeah,
They brought
Dalot came
Varane and
right.
Dalot. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean they bought Dalot directly right away when the red card happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my problem with this, with the little I know, is, listen, Ali should have started Varane. Ali made this mistake last season. It's like, you can't get caught up in the euphoria of what we've achieved so far, because we've achieved nothing. And you should start Varane. And you should start your strongest teams in the beginning and get as much points as possible, so that then there are definite games when you can rest players and afford to lose those games, and get the players who don't normally get playing time, let them play in a non or a least pressure situation. And Ali's made this mistake last year, and you'd hope he'd learn from it. So it's like he's still learning, but he's proven that he's still learning. I don't know if anybody. It's like, why not start Varane in the Champions League game? Like,
I think the side you put out was good enough. Like, you were 1-0 up, and you weren't completely like dominating them, but you were controlling the game. Like,
right.
you were in control of it. They looked occasionally dangerous, but I think you had them under control.
Mm-hmm.
And the red cards changed it.
First 30 minutes, I would say it was a pretty even game. It wasn't like dominant.
Yeah, but I think by the time United scored, they looked like they'd. You play a team like Young Boys away from home. They've got loud fans. It's on a pitch you don't really know because you're not used to playing on artificial surfaces. So I think Young Boys are always going to be strong right at the start. But then I think United settled and they looked in control.
Okay.
And then that red card just changes everything. It's a definite red card. I watched the tackle back a few times. It's a definite red card. But then it's about managing the game as well. I mean, and the winner came in the 95th minute because Jesse Lingard played a through ball for Young Boys. It was a dreadful
that I
goal.
saw.
And the striker actually mishit, and the ball went. Yeah, but he tried to kick to the right, and the ball went to the left, so it was a miskick that went in. If he kicked the ball where he wanted to kick the ball, probably De Gea would have saved it. So it was a kind of a fluke goal.
And I know the striker plays for the US, so he's dead to me.
But to be quite honest with you, in the second half, they created so many chances, Young Boys. I mean,
they could have won much earlier.
Yeah. It was a poor performance, across the board. Poor performance, really. It really was. And just like you said, because he didn't play the best players, he gave chances to some players who were fringe players who were bought with high hopes and didn't deliver, and he gave them a chance, and unfortunately, it didn't work out for him.
But I mean, they were in the game until the 95th minute, because some teams we've seen recently have a red card and just crumble completely.
But they didn't create anything after the 30 minutes.
What team was that exactly? Specifically, what team were you talking about?
They didn't.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, but come on, you can't compare Young Boys Burner to. Come on, man. It's Young Boys Burner.
I think the biggest thing that leapt out to me was that even if you take, like, the red card should not completely bring down a team like Manchester United to the level of being below Young Boys. Because if you look at the starting lineup, yeah, he did give Van de Beek a chance, but it still had Ronaldo, Bruno, Sancho,
But when did he take Ronaldo out? At what minute?
He took Ronaldo out pretty late in the second half, I think.
Yeah, he was playing in the second half for sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because he had the penalty shout in the second half, didn't he? Which wasn't a penalty.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, Maguire was there, Luke Shaw was there, De Gea was there. So, Wan-Bissaka says he basically just talking of Lindelof and Van de Beek as people from not your starting, main starting 11 who were starting. And then Van de Beek got hooked off. I kind of felt a little bad for him because, when you play after such a long time, you kind of probably deserve the entire 90 minutes.
And
who
did they put into him?
Huh?
That's not charity. That's Man U. You gotta deliver. He didn't.
No, I know what you mean, but like I feel like what's gonna happen now is that he's never gonna see the pitch again for a while.
Yep.
Now. So
and that's his fault. I
feel like when managers start having their favorites, because it's pretty clear that Van Beek isn't his favorite. You see certain players being given way more chances to keep at it and fail and lift themselves up than some others. So which is fine. Every manager does that.
Yeah, but that is correct. But today he had a chance to prove that.
Martin, you said that 5 times. Yeah.
And he's not.
Martin, you're hilarious. Yeah.
So true.
I think what really was pretty shocking to see was that the red card had such a big impact. But even either side of the red card, if you look at
Neil, are you saying this because Chelsea survived the red card and still got points?
I'm just saying that when you are at a red card, it's different getting a red card against a really good team versus getting a red card against a team that you're anyway supposed to beat. You shouldn't start managing the game right from that moment. And this is not like managing the last 20 minutes or something. This happened in the 35th minute. So it seemed like
But even if you're a goal up, when you're just on the road,
goal up. We're just one goal
artificial
up.
Turf. Yeah, you just one goal up, and you're like,
you just one goal up. You still have probably the best attackers in European football altogether on the pitch to completely abandon that side of play. And you saw the results of it. You just one goal up. You saw how fragile that lead is. That showed in the result.
I understand, but it's not completely crazy to me, like you're saying. Not that you're saying it's crazy. It's you're one goal up, you're on the road, and you have some of the best attackers, and you're like, let's limit their chances, and then get one of our attackers in a position to get an extra goal, and then win. That's not the craziest thing to me.
No, but the problem with that is what you are saying seems kind of reasonable the way you put it. That you kind of pull yourself back a little and then still try maybe at the counterattack kind of. Mm-hmm. The game ended with Young Boys having 19 shots, United 2. No amount of organization can account for that. That's the real problem.
They could have had 19 shots and the game still end 1-1. If it wasn't for Jesse Lingard's bad pass.
Yeah, but you shouldn't be dependent on it becoming such a tight game, is what I'm saying.
They shouldn't be dependent on all Jesse Lingard passing the ball.
They're just happy to be around. They're just happy to be around. The fact that United had 2 shots in the entire game where Young Boys had 19.
I think that red card gave them a boost.
In fact, the only reason why that scoreline was not more in favor of Young Boys is their attackers are not at the level of United's attackers. If they had even Premier League level attackers, this could have easily been a 3 or 4 goal game.
I know.
It doesn't matter in the Champions League if it's a 3 or 4 goal game. It's an embarrassing loss. It's one of the worst defeats in the history of Manchester United. It's a huge upset. No, let's put it honestly. It's embarrassing.
But this is not honest.
But
Martin, this is not
Switzerland.
honest.
It's not even a top 10 league in Europe.
Let's put it honestly, and then went straight to dishonesty.
No, it is honest. It's a horrible loss.
This is a group stage game. Last season, we won the first 2 games in the group against the toughest teams in the group, and then got knocked out of the group.
And why did you get knocked out? No, why? Because you lost in Turkey to a weak team.
Let me finish. So this is nothing. The other 2 teams in the group tied. They're only 1 point ahead of us, and this team is 3 points. This is the beginning. You guys lost in the fake Europe competition that they made up, and you still made it out. So calm the fuck down. This is not
I'm calm.
serious.
I'm just saying the way it is. You know, last season, the reason why you didn't make it out of the group was because you lost to the weakest team in the group.
That's not that we did. But we lost because Ali should have played a strong lineup, and
he didn't.
But I mentioned that earlier.
Yeah.
You know,
But
these
he
are
did play a
mistakes that
strong
can be
lineup.
corrected.
Actually, he did play a strong lineup.
You play your strongest lineup, and you get in front, and then you put those guys in. We play a strong lineup.
I mean, if you're playing 9 out of 11 starters, you are playing.
Let me
a
ask you
strong
a
lineup,
question,
right?
Neil, who did your guy play today for Chelsea?
People who are not in our starting 11. I mean, he played a lot of folks who usually wouldn't.
Like who?
Like he played.
Let me go look. Let me go see what Chelsea.
He played Alonso. He played.
Alonso's a starter.
Alonso
he
starts
played
every game. Ziyech started
he's starting now.
Ziyech starts too.
No, Ziyech. See, that's
he
the
started
thing.
last game. I saw the game.
Yeah.
Okay, listen. But we played 4 starters in the last game too. That's what I'm saying. We played 4 of our starting lineup against Aston Villa,
Ziyech,
and we did kind of.
Ziyech to Donny. Ziyech plays a lot of last season.
Okay, but I'm saying you know if you're trying to build a squad, you are gonna have players who you will have to trust from people not in your select 11. So if you see Chelsea's best 11, there are players who played today who are pretty much not expected to start every game, but they played today.
They're only not expected to. It's a different scenario. They're not expected to start. They're all starters. Like I'm looking at you.
Yeah. We have a pretty good squad.
They're all starters, but you're so deep that some starters won't play. Like because they're pretty much even with some of the people who don't play. So it's not like the same situation with Manu or Donny.
But that's the challenge with building a squad, right? When you put in so much money, you have to kind of have be confident that you have a squad where you're confident of. You can't like just because 2 players are not and your absolute best starting 11, your complete game goes out the window. You can't really have that. You're playing against the young boys in the Champions League.
Listen, bro. If you would have started Chalobah for somebody else, that's a wash. If you had started,
well, we started Chalobah on Saturday in the Premier League against much tougher opposition than Zenit or Young Boys. But we won 3-0.
But he's even to who you didn't start, and that's
nobody knew of Chalobah like 2 months back.
No, but we do now.
No,
you could tell. Listen,
we've known Lindelof.
Can I tell you something?
Lindelof for like how long?
Can I tell you something? I never saw Camavinga play. He came on for 20 minutes for Real Madrid this weekend, and I was
there's been talk of Camavinga.
Let me finish, Neil. Let me finish. Yeah. I was like, oh my fucking God. Everybody missed an opportunity to get this guy. He's big. He's 18. He can get up the field back and forth effortlessly. He got in the way of passes and disrupted it, and he scored. And it wasn't the scoring.
He's like just, young William a little bit. Yeah.
Nah, come on. No? It's just the way you could just tell,
call him that.
You could just tell when somebody has value, and the same thing with Chalobah. He has that type of value. So you can't compare like
Chalobah to
when Chalobah is so good. You can't compare Chalobah to
Van de Beek.
Van de Beek, you know what I mean? It's like this guy
Van de Beek was one of the talk of the town like 12 months back when he was being bought by United.
But I can mention another Van de Beek partner in crime from that same team who went to Juventus and doesn't start. It's like it's just going to take some people longer in those leagues. It's just you maybe one day.
No, true, but like you still have to give them some chances to reach that point, right?
But that's not the point I'm making. You're making a point that nobody brought up.
No, I'm saying like you have to trust your backup too in games. Like if you can't trust them in games like this.
But Neil, I'm not arguing with that. That is not the point.
But you're saying you should play all 11 of your best 11 every game.
No, I did not say that either. I said in the beginning of the season, start your best 11, get all the points, and even in some games, get ahead so much so that you can put in people like Van de Beek and the Lingards and the stuff so that they can get more comfortable in a comfortable situation and gain their confidence. Also, you can rest the starters, the actual starters, and then bring more balance to the team that way. Oli doesn't do it that way, and that's my issue.
I think Oli would have received a lot of grief if he hadn't given somebody like Van de Beek chance even in this game, because I think that's been one of the things that's been thrown at him, that you have this guy who, you know, you spend 40 million on, and he's just literally lying there as a training cone and not being given any chance at all. So,
you know when that grief disappears? When we win a trophy.
Yeah, but you can't win a trophy in September. So, you know, you have to start somewhere.
Yeah, but you can't win. Neil, I think you already know my point. You're being Neil right now.
No, I know.
I'm just going to stop.
I know your point, but I also know, like last week we discussed the sequence of how Donny van de Beek has not been getting chances. So I felt like today was the right opportunity for him to get a chance. And just because the result didn't go your way, you can't now say that was where things went wrong.
I thought today was the right opportunity for him to get a chance, but not at the beginning of the game. I feel like I said, let's get this win going, let's get comfortable. And then, like, that guy can play, but he's feeling so much pressure to deliver right now. He mentally can't get past it. I could see it. And you have to, Ali has to see that too. And that's not a good thing either, for a player to feel the pressure like that. That shows lack of, because mentality is a big part of the game. So that shows kind of a lack of quality of Van de Beek that he needs to get over to. So
I think the one more thing that kind of struck me was when you're playing Van de Beek and you look at the fact that there are 4 pretty much central midfielders like Fred. He's trying to use Pogba as sort of a wide midfielder, you know, like a 4-1-4-1 kind of, and I don't really think that's his game.
I know, but he had success. Nobody thinks that's it. He had success at the beginning, first few games of the season like that. Like, Ali likes to experiment. That's something that I do like about him, that he, as a young coach with inexperience, he's taking chances that normally work out. And, you know, it's like, oh, okay, showed me something there. But, hey, man, we lost today. You want to talk about how beautiful you feel about Chelsea and what you did today and Lukaku?
No, I think there was not much to write home about the Chelsea game, except the fact that it was kind of similar to a lot of games last season where we are faced with a pretty organized low block team and we kind of are running out of options to unlock the defense. The only difference being this time, when we had one opportunity, the striker actually made it count. So, but yeah, I mean, the game was pretty much like in our control. It's not like Zenit. Zenit had one real good chance, and Rudiger made a good tackle before it could become a problem. But other than that, it was a game like, you know, where we were trying to kill them by 1,000 paper cuts. and turns out all we needed was just one booming, you know, cross from Aspilicueta.
Some old school play.
Yeah, and Lukaku did the job. But yeah, it's a little concerning that our other forwards aren't really in goal scoring form. But that is something we knew from last season. Like, even though our strikers didn't score overall, nobody scored more than 6 goals in the team in the Premier League. So it's not a new problem. I think Tuchel has to work on it and figure out how to, you know, find solutions against that. That's our one blind spot, and we haven't really come across many teams that are organized and prepared to take a 0-0 draw. So today we came across such a team, and it looked for the most part that it's going to end 0-0. But you know, Lukaku did his thing, and that saved us.
Lee, can you describe how ugly Chelsea's game is? It's results driven. They get.
I don't think it was ugly. It was just the fact that they were trying to break down, like Neil said, a low block where a team is just organised, sitting in front of their own box. I mean, even Rudiger almost came up with a chance. That's how desperate they were to try and score.
In the beginning of the second half, right?
Yeah.
But like Neil said, he made a great tackle as well. So, but that's what Lukaku gives you. He gives you the option to start putting crosses in. I don't think Chelsea had that last year. You can't sling crosses into the box when you've just got Timo Werner. Or like Pulisic isn't going to do that job, or Ziyech isn't going to do that job. Havertz isn't too bad in the air, but like Lukaku's just a different dimension. And he means you can do that. So if you can't get in behind a team, if you can't play combinations around the box, then you can just start putting crosses in with him, because you know that he's a game changer.
There is an ugliness or a dullness to Chelsea, and it's been there since Tuchel got there, because it felt like he wanted to set the defense up first and start from the back up front, the way they play. And it's almost, and somebody said this, but I was thinking it right before he said it, it almost reminds me like Mourinho when he first got to Chelsea. Like the results and how you guys are playing, except I think that Chelsea team still played more exciting football. They would just pull back after they got ahead.
I mean, I'd take it in exchange for a Champions League.
Right. Yeah, 100%.
I mean, I don't think the gameplay is defensive by design. It's compact, but there is enough leeway for folks in the 5 folks in the forward, like the 3 up front and the 2 wing backs, to go do their thing in the final third. So if you see the last goal that we scored against Aston Villa, that was the entire play from back to front. Like it involved, I think 9 out of 11 players on the pitch. We would go down straight into anything out of a Pep Guardiola playbook too. So we have that in the locker too. If we, it doesn't probably come out as often, because. But I think the reason why it doesn't come across as often is we still have a pretty young group of forwards, and they are just about getting used to. I get this feeling that still not realizing what they have in Lukaku up front. It's like the goal that we got today. There should really be more such attempts of like trying different things. So
right.
I think it's going to take a little while more to people completely understand, get on the same page with Lukaku.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. And how you feel about the game against Villa? Like the game against Villa, I felt like, I don't know, what the game I watched, I want to make sure the game I watched felt like...
We watched together.
Like Villa was on them.
Yeah.
They were on you. I felt like they created more chances. I'm going to check the stats now.
Yeah, they definitely created more. I think they outshot us. And I also think in terms of like the really big chances, I think they did create a lot, but we didn't create a lot. So they might have just edged us on that too. So
now they had 18 shots. Like for Villa to get 18 shots on like Chelsea is bananas. You guys somehow had more possession. I don't know how, because it just really, I was confused watching the team with the colors I thought would be defending was actually attacking. And,
well, we pretty much in the first half, so Tuchel played Saul like straight up, and that turned out to be one of the worst debuts I've seen. I think since it reminded me of, I want to say Bakayoko, but Bakayoko had a cup debut, which is pretty good, but he had a league debut, which was horrible. And this
what I will say about Saul though, like this guy has come out of playing for Simeone for like 10 years or something.
Yeah.
Like that's like coming out of prison. Like if you come out of prison, it takes a while to get used to the outside.
He's been institutionalized.
I think that's what he's going through. Like if you played for Atletico under Simeone for that long, like you're institutionalized. You need to take some time to get used to, people that aren't trying to just drill you into the ground all the time.
The way he got pulled, I'm afraid we'll never see him back again. I think
that's what I think too.
I think he's back at Atletico training right now. The way Tuchel don't play, man. Tuchel is ruthless.
He'll be okay.
All right. I mean, he has to try him again, but he seems hesitant. But I also think, I don't know if the acquisition of Sal or the maturity of Kovacic, but even in the highlights I saw of today's game and what he did on the weekend, like it shows like a lot of growth. Like I was like, is that the Luka Modric? Like, yeah, he's like he's grown. And just Tuan Sabi, he's on loan at Villa, and he got caught in the worst position that you would want to get caught in. That first goal against Chelsea. Imagine Lukaku's on your left, and he's running towards your goal, and you have to follow him. But as you follow him, you have to look back to see where this pass is going to be made, and you have to keep track of an athletic freight train and a pinpoint pass. And then he gets the ball, and you know he can shoot with his left, and you try to block it, and then he turns on you, and it's almost an impossible job for an inexperienced defender. And Lukaku, like, knows this guy since he was a kid.
He said that.
Yeah, so it's just like I didn't envy them or the rest of the Villa defense. I kind of messed up. Like Mings made like several mistakes that game. Like even Aspilicueta schooled him, you know. So it was just a hard game. Who you got next coming up this weekend?
Oh, we got Martin.
Oh shit, Martin, what do you think?
I'm coming to watch this game with you again. Yeah, we're gonna watch it because I know this is the only chance you're gonna root for my team. You're gonna root for Spurs.
I hate Spurs
Yes, you
so
will.
much now that I was rooting for Zenit.
Go back
today,
to
though.
your roots when you were as a kid, Tottenham supporter.
Yeah.
Go to your childhood.
It's hard. You make it hard. You make it hard.
Huh?
You don't make that shit
Let me
easy.
tell you this: you want us to win this game.
Yeah, I mean, I might want you to win it more if you're not in my living room celebrating in front of me. So you might
will
have
be
to stay
there.
home.
I will be
then I'll
there.
root for Spurs on the low, and then. But what do you think, bro?
I think we have a chance to get a draw, but I'm very, very worried. There are some worrying signs and there are some good signs. So the good signs, 3 out of 4 wins, it's good. Defensive record, you know, because of course we were 10 against 11 and the red card I don't think was the red card, so that was kind of a little bit unlucky for Tanganga. We would have never, I mean, those are your words too, you said it, you know, that Tanganga shouldn't be
yeah, I thought it was just a foul. I thought he pulled out in time.
Yeah.
I thought he pulled out in time, so go ahead.
So it would never be 0-3.
But
with
Lee, I
11
saw your
against
face.
11.
I'm gonna get to you.
Yeah, so it would never be 11 against 11. It would never be 0-3. It would probably be 0-1 with probably 1-0 for Crystal Palace at the end. So the defensive end works better this season, but unfortunately we're not creating that many chances, and that is a one worrying sign that we're not creating a lot. And
You
No.
didn't this game because
no, in general we created, I think we're in the bottom 6 or bottom 7 in terms
Okay.
of creating chances in games, you know, so that's not a good sign. We need to improve that, and hopefully we will, and if we play good defense, we can get a draw against Chelsea. I think it's realistic. Can we lose like 1-0? Yeah, we can too, you know, it's possible with Lukaku scoring a winning goal, because Chelsea is the one team that was beating us pretty consistently. Even if we were good under Pochettino, we still lost some games against Chelsea. So that's sort of.
remember that title game.
We didn't lose that one. It was 2-2.
But you
But,
lost points.
Yeah, but it was 7 points advantage for Leicester at this moment of the season. So that was already pretty much decided. Yeah, they're not the team that we play very well in the recent history. That's the one team we actually usually underperform against. But hopefully this time will be different, but it's not like I'm very optimistic going to this game.
Lee, what do you think about this Tanganga foul?
Oh, it's definitely a sending off. I mean, the guy's already on a booking because he got involved in some stupid shit with Zaha, which they were both booked for rightfully because they were both scrapping and pushing hands up at each other. And then the tackle was a stupid tackle to make on a when you're already on a yellow. Like, he tried to pull out, but he's already in it. Like, you can't do that. Like, he's going to be late to the tackle, so it's a yellow card. I mean, the best you can hope for there is that the ref just says, "Calm your shit down. You're on a yellow." But he dived in. Like, I know he tried to pull out at the last minute, but he's already dived in. So the referee's well within his rights to send him off. And what I would say is that even before that, Spurs were getting dominated. Palace had 60% possession. They'd had 11 shots. Spurs had 0 by that point.
And that's with 11 men. So with 10 men,
they were getting bossed by a pretty average Palace.
No, we were slightly worse in this game.
If you're Tottenham and you go and try and you let Palace have the ball and you try and play on the counter-attack against Palace, like,
we played counter-attack every single game so far this season.
To me.
It's just the way he plays. We're gonna play. Let me tell you this: we're gonna play counter-attacking football against Chelsea too. I don't
expect
Chelsea,
because they're Chelsea, but you're playing Palace, man. You need to control
but
that game.
Palace is a dangerous team. I was worried about that game. I said it before. It's a very dangerous team at home. They beat some good teams last season. They beat Man U, I think, twice. So it's a very dangerous, tricky team. They're like an on and off team. So I was worried about that game.
I think it just shows where Spurs are at right now.
And where are they?
Yeah, exactly. 3 out of 4 wins, probably 5th or 6th best team in the league. That's where we're at. I
wouldn't even say 5th or 6th. Those wins weren't convincing.
Okay, so who's better outside of top 4?
Kick that went all the way in.
Who's better outside of top 4? You think, like for the season?
Leicester, West Ham, Villa.
Villa, really?
From what I've seen so far, like I say, you've been lucky in those games. Wolves are the better team against you.
It's not luck. It's discipline. It's discipline. We're disciplined.
That wasn't even a shot.
We'll see. We'll see the next 2 games, Chelsea and Arsenal. That will tell a lot. If we can get a point from Chelsea game and win against Arsenal, we're fine.
I think you need to sort the midfield out, though. I'm not convinced by Højbjerg, Winks, and Skip. The 3 of them together.
100%.
But Winks only just started. Like, I think he's a squad player. Who did you?
So.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think he should play at all. No.
I think it was a mistake to play Ali in the front 3 in that game.
I think Ali should play as a center midfielder, attacking center midfielder. He should play in that position, and Winks should never play. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Maybe Gil. I don't know that much about Gil, like where he's at right now in his
what's his position?
And adjusting. He's a creative player in the midfield, but he's also young and inexperienced, and it takes adjustment to the Premier League for young players, especially from Spain. So, listen, if he's the next David Silva, I want to see that, eventually. But so far, I don't have enough knowledge about where he is.
Is he a 10?
No.
He's a winger.
He's a winger, but he can play like a half and half, probably.
It sounds like Spurs has so many fast, wide players. Because you have Bergwijn, Son could do it.
No, Son will do it.
Moura.
Say again?
Moura.
Yeah, by the way, Son didn't play against Crystal Palace. If we had Son on the field, that's a different game.
Yeah, Moura put in some work in this game. Like, he was the only player like doing something. And he's untouchable when he doesn't want to be touched. Like, just getting, like, when he gets the ball and he's like, listen, like, you can't touch me. It was like, I remember when we was kids and we used to play, what is that game where you're it until somebody touches you? It's freeze tag. Like, they couldn't even freeze tag him out there. You know what I mean? Like, with the ball, while he's dribbling, nobody could just touch him to freeze him. And he could get off base and run around and then get back on base and unfreeze whoever he wanted to freeze. It's just that Spurs players weren't in positions or available for it. But yeah.
I think we've got to mention Hudson Edouard as well for his debut. First touch was a goal and then got another one as well. I mean, I'm still surprised that he went to Palace because there were bigger clubs like Leicester were looking at him at one point. I think
Chelsea,
a couple of other clubs. Like, I think even City were looking at him as a backup striker. Like, I mean, it's a good signing for Palace, and he's good impact. I think Benteke is going to struggle to start now.
You think it was because of Vieira he went there? Do you think
Possibly.
Vieira has added something to Crystal Palace to make players want to go there?
Yeah, I think so. Like, he's got a bit of pull, especially with French players.
Right.
I loved his quote after the game as well, where he just said, like, I don't lose to Spurs.
Holy shit, he said that?
I don't think he said that. I don't think so. No, you made it up. You made it up.
Oh, shit. But Gallagher, I mean,
Did you hear what the Palace fans were singing as well?
Oh,
Patrick
yeah.
Vieira, he's won more than you.
yes, yeah. Oh man, the fans are funny. Fans are funny, and then they go overboard. Speaking of fans going overboard, yo,
Ian, I just
Neil,
wanted to say, yeah.
what the fuck were your fans doing and saying when McGinn went to take that corner? Did you hear about it?
I know the Chelsea put out something. There was some video floating around. I haven't seen the incident, but is that the one you're talking about? Because
Yeah,
Chelsea
yeah.
put out something that they're trying to identify who,
Yes.
McGinn,
who were
wasn't
these
it?
fans. I actually don't know what was being sung.
So McGinn is from Ireland or Scotland?
Scotland.
McGinn's Scottish, but he's like got Irish ancestry, I think.
Yeah.
Because basically it was an anti-Irish
Right.
slur that was said at him by the Chelsea fans. They recorded themselves saying it for some stupid reason.
Yeah, and
as he was
posted
taking
it.
a corner.
That always happens. Like, so a lot of, because when they're doing that, they don't consider that as something bad.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they look at it as a bravado thing, like, hey, we got this over. But yeah, I hope they they find the group or the section where this was at, and I hope other Chelsea fans who are in and around those places help the club in identifying these people, because I mean there's been some precedent over this. I think last season or the season before that, there was something similar that happened, and fellow fans actually helped in identifying who this guy was. So yeah, just throw the rule book at him.
I got to give McGinn credit for just going about his business, because he could clearly hear that shit. And
I mean, you took the corner pretty terribly, so it must have got his bit.
yeah. He spent his energy trying to block it out, block out the screams.
Ian, you're saying about, just wanted to touch about Conor Gallagher. You're saying that Kovacic has raised his game after Saul Niguez's entry. I don't think that's the reason. I think he saw all the compilations he saw all Twitter, Conor Gallagher trending on Twitter, and he's like, fuck that. Because the thing that's been held against Kovacic is that he can do all the pretty gritty stuff in the middle of the pitch, but you'll always find that extra midfielder with some space, and he's absolutely terrible in the when he's going forward. So he ends up in positions where he can do something, but he doesn't do it.
Right.
And that's what Gallagher does really well. And looks like Kovacic has taken it upon himself that, okay, fine, I'll try. Maybe I can do something.
I mean, the way Conor Gallagher made himself available to his teammates and found places when they were facing Tottenham's like low block, like when Tottenham was being defensive, was just bananas and effortless. And he's like the greatest wingman. I'd take him to go chat up girls, because he just found the room and just ran all game. And it's just not like, there's sometimes you have those players that run hard and tackle hard, but the intelligence is also there. And how old is he?
He's 21 today. He's probably
So
the
that
same
intelligence is just going to get more intelligent. I feel like it's a good thing.
I think he's 21. He was basically 1 year senior to the Livramento batch, because like Livramento won Chelsea Academy Player of the Year, and Conor Gallagher won it the year before that.
Well, listen, I noticed this guy. Who did he play for last year?
West Brom.
West Brom. I noticed him last year. Like, you see a lot of players, but this motherfucker stood out to me last year when he's at West Brom. I was like, because I always like identify the people that can like fit that we need at Man U, and I was like, I know he's young and he's on West Brom, but could he like be a good midfielder for Man U? Isn't this the type of person that we're looking for? And he just stood out on West Brom, a team that got relegated. And then you're like not sure, but then now he's on another team and he's doing the same thing even better. And this motherfucker might be the real deal. It's gonna take more seasons, but Jesus Christ.
He was running games for Charlton before the season before. He was at Charlton in League One, and I think he was only about 18
right.
when he was there, and to go into League One as an 18-year-old, because he's not a big guy either. He's quite like he's quite slight. To be running games in League One when you're 18, when every team wants to.
I think that was a championship, though. I think that was the championship. They went down after that season, so he left in the
Was it
middle
that
of the
season or was it championship? I thought they were still League One at the time.
No, they
only
were
just come back
championship,
to the
and
championship.
he left in the middle of the season. That such was his stock in just 6 months that Swansea, who were actually pushing for promotion, took him
It
from
might have
Charlton.
been championship, yeah. But he was at Charlton, wasn't he? Prior, and he was playing well at Charlton at like 18.
He's impressive, man. He's impressive as fuck.
Yeah, we have some tough calls to make. You guys have some tough calls to make over the summer. What to do with Gallagher and Gilmore, because I mean, there's just 2 spots, and there's like already 4 players for them right now. Like Barkley and Loftus-Cheek are in the stands.
Why don't Barkley just start packing his bags now? Why is he even like hanging?
I mean, he
around?
tried to find a place on loan, but he's on Chelsea wages, so it's not easy. I think he's just willing to looking to wind down his contract.
How much time does he have left?
I think about a year.
Oh, that ain't nothing.
Yeah,
he could still play because he can be a value somewhere else. Martin, what do you think of Emerson Royal's unroyal introduction to the goddamn Premier League? I mean, Louis Saha turned him more than you turn a pig on a spit with on an apple in his mouth. Like,
worst royal since Prince Andrew.
Say what?
Worst royal since Prince Andrew.
Prince Andrew's cool. Prince Andrew's cool. Listen. You know, like here's the thing, you know, and I'm gonna transition slowly to the Barcelona game today. You know, the Barcelona sold so many players.
Yes, we gotta talk about that.
Sold so many players, and he's one of them, and it will take an adjustment to it's better to have one bad game at the beginning than to have 30 bad games like the Aurier had, you know.
I know. I just want to roast him now, but I believe, but I have hopes.
I mean, listen, you know, it was a difficult game to play because of the red card and stuff. So that was a difficult.
No, but Martin, he was getting trashed. Listen, I just want to roast him now because as much as Zaha roasted him during the game, and I believe in him. I want to give him hope, but listen, bro, he was having a tough time. The way he played made it feel like it was 10 men before they had 10 men. I mean,
happens. One game, I'm not panicking after one game.
But let's go into the Barcelona game. You brought up something. So that's my thing. I was trying to, before the podcast started, I was talking to Lee. I don't know if I brought this up last week, but yeah, it was transfer window and shit, and Barcelona got the wages of Griezmann off their thing. But now all the pressure's on one guy, Depay. And even if Griezmann didn't play good or score goals, and it was only 2 games, because last season he had a great season for Barcelona. If you check the stats, it's like even when Griezmann didn't have a good game, he took defenses off Depay. You ain't gonna double team Depay because you got to look out for Griezmann. Now all you have to look out for is Griezmann. They have Braithwaite, who we know is not like one of the top strikers in the world. The other top striker you have is injured and old and isn't going to come back. I think it was a mistake for them to get rid of Griezmann this early with such a young squad.
Listen, for the first time ever, Barcelona didn't have a single shot on goal in the Champions League game today.
Damn.
First time ever. They remind me of late 80s Barcelona teams that I watched as a kid, you know, when Real Madrid was winning the league every year and Barcelona wasn't very good. And then suddenly Barcelona became good under Johan Cruyff, and it changed the history. Although they had one bad moment at the end of 90s, early 2000s when Louis van Gaal was there. That kind of didn't work out. He didn't have a good time there at Barcelona too. So it reminds me of those Barcelona teams that were not very good. And it looks like that's the next year or two or even more for their, you know, fan base. It looks like it's a chance for like teams like Valencia, Atletico Madrid, because Real Madrid is not that dominant either, although they're top of the league, but it's not like they have an amazing team. So yeah, I mean, chance for the Premier League teams to, to dominate the Champions League, chance for other Spanish teams to catch up with Barcelona and Real Madrid.
What do you think of Musala? This kid's like, I'm saying his name wrong.
Oh, great. He's 18.
Yeah, just turned 18 because he was 17 before. He's
amazing.
Starting. The shots he's taken are shots that, I mean, there's so much young talent. There's Greenwood, there's Musala, there's, who else am I missing? Mbappé sounds old, and Haaland sounds old compared to how young these dudes are. And I'm not even saying everybody. Who else am I missing? There's Haaland. There's
Camavinga.
There is Ansu. Well, that's another. And listen, I'll tell you something. I saw Vinicius Jr. play this weekend. I watched the Real Madrid game, and it's the levels on this guy. It's crazy. Like, if you get a chance to watch a Real Madrid game and they start Vinicius or just playing, it's like everything that he tried to do last year messed up. Like, it's almost like watching, you know, when Ronaldo used to do all the step overs, but he knew what he was trying to do, and then it took him a few years to execute. Vinicius Jr. is executing. Like, this weekend, he was over Benzema, everybody on that team, better than everybody. Like,
he's taken a little while to settle there because he was billed as like the new like Neymar in Brazil when he first broke through.
Can I tell you something? The last two games I've seen, he is, man. But he's more direct. And he glides past people. And that argument with Benzema that he had last season, when Benzema was like, hey, man, you got to pass the ball, and started clowning him. And he was mature enough to like accept, like apologize. And now they're like, this guy, bro. Like, your boy Hazard doesn't start sometimes or gets pulled for him.
Yeah.
What happened to him, by the way? You know, like, it's not the same guy I remember from Chelsea.
He got benched. Listen, he got pulled out the game this weekend for Camavinga. And the way Camavinga played, Hazard is just going to be in the weeds. Like, the Camavinga thing, I think I hinted on it earlier, but it was just 20 minutes, bro. And I cannot explain it to you. I just can't. You just got to watch it, bro.
Got to give props to Modric for the turn of pace before the goal as well. Like, I didn't think he had that in him still.
Yeah. Yeah, Modric is still running at people. And maybe he's motivated by seeing these people and be like, young kids, and like, I still want to play. Like, Real Madrid got midfielders for days. Who they play tomorrow in Champions League? I'll tell you in a second. They play Inter Milan.
Benzema took his goals really well as well.
So what?
Benzema took his goals really well the weekend as well.
Yeah. To get them, because they went down, and then he had to get them back. Yeah,
he was clinical.
Yeah.
But Bayern, man, like, they keep killing Barcelona on regular basis recently. It's pretty embarrassing how they're destroying them.
They beat them.
It kind of seemed like they were going easy on them. Like,
yeah,
it could have gone even worse.
Listen, Barcelona had like 4 18-year-olds. You know how Man United played Young Boys? Barcelona should just rename themselves Young Boys, because it's just kids out there.
Well,
and that's why they shouldn't have got
young boys and old boys, because they still have Gerard Piqué and all those guys, you know.
Yeah.
By the way, Ian Musea, another guy from the Chelsea academy, so he got
really. I know that.
Yeah.
When did Bayern get him?
2 seasons back.
Well, you should.
Around the time when
he was like 15 when he went there.
He was like 16 or so.
Hold on, Martin. Sorry, one second.
So the thing was that I think he was 17, because I know he's like 2 years or like a year or two behind Hudson-Odoi. So this kind of happened around the time they were trying really hard to get Hudson-Odoi, and there was like I
think they made the right choice.
But that's the thing, like, when you get that opportunity, the thing with Hudson-Odoi is like he's getting such stopgap opportunities at Chelsea. But we can come to that later. But like,
evaluating talent at this academy, because it looks like you let guys leave who are like,
we didn't let him leave. So everybody at Chelsea knew how good. Like Musiala was the next wonder kid coming from Chelsea, and everybody knew it. It's just that the way the rules are with the contract, like at 15, you can sign. You can't sign more than I think a 2-year contract, which is called like a schoolboy, the scholarship, right?
Yeah, it's a pre-contract essentially.
Pre-contract. Yeah. Okay. So, and the reason they have it such short is so that players are not tied into clubs where they're not being, it's for the benefit of the players. So it's happening every year now. People like Livramento also who have left this year, that when they come to around the age of 18, it's kind of out of the club's hands if another club is offering really good terms to these players. And Bayern came in, and he has half German parentage, so that was something that even though he's been in England for like I think since the age of like 5 or 6, but
he's a traitor.
But he's the one who got away for England.
Yeah. So he's not playing for Germany too. So it's kind of like
he should be thrown in the Tower of London when he comes back to England.
They came in with a really strong contract, and in the guise of making the Hudson-Odoi thing, we won the battle on Hudson-Odoi. But and actually Hudson-Odoi's brother was also his agent at the time. So there was a lot of stuff happening, and people at Chelsea were pretty shocked. It was kind of a coup, because it completely took the club, by the blind side. And since then, we've tried to like tie up a lot of these youngsters on contracts, but even then, like the problem we're facing is we're creating more than we can use. So we kind of have to make a choice on some of these guys. You can't promise a 17-year-old Jamal Musiala game time in the senior squad.
Bayern does.
Bayern does, because Bayern's not playing tough games every week. So Bayern can go ahead and,
people be shitting on the Bundesliga. You could lose those games, man.
Well, remind me that when Bayern loses the Bundesliga, they can come close and just go take the second place guy's manager, best center midfielder, and best center back. Like that will never happen in the Premier League. So that's a one league. That's a one club league. So they can they can offer better pathways to senior football, to younger players, and that's what a kid like Musiala, like I don't blame him. Like that's you'd rather take that than wait around, go on the loan, 2 loans, even if it works out like it has worked out for some of these players at Chelsea right now.
People say France is a 1-team league, but Lille won last year. But the reason why I bring Lille up is because they played today, right? And the surprising thing is that there's a player on Lille who played today who was an ex-Man United player. And he went to Portugal last year, and then he ended up on Lille after they won the league, and he started today, or he was in the game today, and that's Angel Gomez. And he actually played. I only saw one play with him, but it was a play where he stole the ball from a really good Bundesliga player, because I think they was playing Wolfsburg, and had the assist to the assist to a goal that eventually got called off. But it was a good, strong play and great pass to the guy that passed the ball to the guy that actually scored the goal that got taken back. So it's good to see Angel Gomez, ex-Man United player, a youth academy player in Champions League. That's pretty impressive.
Is he still with United, or did he get?
Nah. He didn't want to. He didn't resign.
Oh, okay.
Now, some players need those fresh starts, and also some players will play better at a club like Lille because there's not the same intense pressure as Man United. Mm-hmm. I think that's why Lingard did well at West Ham as well. It's not like when you're at a club like Man United, the level of scrutiny is 100 times more than some other clubs.
Right.
And some players can handle that. It brings out the best in some people, like Ronaldo loves that. But other players, they need to go somewhere where the pressure's not as much and they can start thriving.
I mean, yeah. But I feel like whatever club you're at, the fans put so much pressure on you. It's I
think you feel it more if you're at one of those super clubs.
Right. I mean, if you listen to sports radio, I guess more callers are going to come in from the bigger clubs.
Yeah.
And more than the smaller clubs. Is there any other game today besides the Barcelona game that you guys like in Champions League that Juventus beat Malmo 3-0? They showed
you'd expect that.
Malmo that were Juventus. And
interesting thing about Juventus, I listened to some opinions about Juventus. Szczesny is on a bad streak. He cost them a game last weekend in the league, and he's heavily criticized. And they didn't offer a new contract to Buffon, who at the age of 44 is playing for Parma again. That was his first team, where he started playing the Serie A and started playing for Italy. And he went back to play for Parma at the age of 44, probably his last team, I guess. So that is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, Juventus got a better coach, a more experienced coach now, but they might not have the team to still win the league. But with people were saying today, like with Ronaldo goal, Dybala gets to play more. I think Ronaldo being there held him back a little bit, but also Morata. I think Morata is what Morata is, inconsistent.
Speaking of Serie A, did you see Mourinho this weekend?
I saw a clip. So what happened?
So they beat Sassuolo 2-1, and it was Mourinho's 1,000th game as a manager.
Right.
And obviously when they scored for 2-1 late on the game, he's done his famous touchline run celebration to mark his 1,000th game. To celebrate with his players. They're top of Serie A as well. Then he stopped by on the way back. He stopped by to hug the Sassuolo manager and apologize.
Oh, that was cool. That was cool because he's criticized coaches for celebrating like that in front of him. Did he run was the game completely over when he ran on the field or no?
I'm not sure.
No,
it was straight from the goal.
It was in the 91st or 92nd minute.
Yeah, it was late, but I don't think it was done.
And what about who did I gotta watch the highlights. Did what's his name score or have an assist or anything to do with the
Tammy?
Tammy was on the pitch, but I don't think he didn't score the goal.
No, he didn't score the goal, but he hit the post. That's the closest he came.
Right. So yeah, Mourinho's the irony is like Mourinho ball is working for Chelsea right now in a sense. In it, like most of the time when he was at Man U and at Spurs, everybody said his style is outdated. But Chelsea just won a Champions League kinda with.
No, I think Mourinho 1.0 was one of the best bands of football I've seen. So I think if you play like, it's only when you completely abandon and you try asking, like he went into a Champions League semi-final asking Eden Hazard to play fullback practically. That's what's the problem. The problem is not having a defensive shape or having a compact shape. You expect that at top teams. So that's why I feel like Jose 1.0. I think Jose 1.0 and Jose 2.0 were very different managers. Like we saw that at Chelsea. But yeah, I mean, he seems to have found a good group of players there at Roma. So I end up watching a lot of their games now just to see Tammy play.
Yeah, I want to watch their games for Tammy too. Yeah.
He was stalking his ex.
Yeah. There's like so many of them. I end up watching them. I see Southampton for the same reason.
Yeah.
Well, you might still get Brozier back, and he was good for us this weekend.
Yeah, I saw that Brozier hitting the post. I saw you guys in the chat talking about Brozier, and I saw Brozier hit the post, and I said, "Who is this steamroller?" Like, and then when he hit the post, and I'm like, I just got to see if there's more of that in there. But if there is, Jesus,
he had a header cleared off the line as well. Just after that,
man,
he could have won the game for us. But Hassan Hüttl gave a really interesting interview about him after the game as well.
What did he say?
He said that he was not lazy, but a slow starter when he joined the club. Like he couldn't understand the ideas very quickly. And he said that's why he's not played much. He's been on the bench every game so far, apart from he started him in the League Cup against Newport and he scored scored 2 goals.
Right.
But he said like he's starting to show now that he's understanding the things that are being asked of him.
Right.
And I think that means he's probably going to play more now going forward, which,
Right.
I mean, you'd expect when an 18, 19-year-old comes in on loan, having played a season in the Netherlands, like it's going to be, it's different coming into a Premier League first team. So, you know, as long as he's willing to learn, then I guess that's all Hasenhüttl wants, and he's going to get more minutes because he's got just such a raw skill set in terms of like he's tall, he's quick, he's strong, he's a good finisher, he's got like a real all-round.
He reminds me of a young white Lukaku.
I think he's more mobile.
Well, Lukaku is mobile. He's so mobile that he didn't want to play with his back to the goal. Like when Lukaku turns around on you, good luck. Like I've seen him do it for Everton, and that's the way he wanted to play. But so tomorrow, PSG. So something interesting. So all weekend I was like, "Where's the Barcelona game?" And then during the Champions League game today, they talked about why Barcelona didn't play. It's because there were certain Spanish teams that had like those South American players that were kind of banned, so they just didn't play those games. So Barcelona was completely rested when they got their ass whooped by Bayern today. But I think also Villarreal didn't play. Was it this weekend too? And whatever some other Spanish teams played today. But jump into PSG. Did PSG play this weekend?
Yeah, but Messi didn't play.
Why not?
I think it's because of the quarantine rules, right?
Oh, shit. Yeah, you're probably right. So is he going to play his first Champions League game for a team that is not Barcelona tomorrow?
Probably.
Have you seen what happened to loads of those players who came back from South America?
What happened?
Went to Croatia, right?
A lot of them have been at a training camp in Croatia.
Croatia. Yeah, I was talking to Lloyd, and he told me that Croatia is a green.
Yeah.
And so then they like the Villa players are in Croatia training.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Spurs have got some there as well. Like Lo Celso was there and Romero.
All right. So that was weird to me, but all right. Who you got tomorrow, Martin? Man City or Leipzig?
Man City. I saw Leipzig against Bayern, and that's enough for me to watch them.
So here's the thing with Leipzig. I saw that game too.
Yeah.
You know, I live in America. Leipzig has an American coach. He's probably the first American coach to coach in the Bundesliga. And he had to coach against Bayern Munich, who has 2 of Leipzig's best players from last year.
And Chelsea has another one from season before,
Right. So
in Timo Werner.
So this is, but Timo left before he got 2 years before he got there. And it's like, I don't think Leipzig had a great start to the season. And Jesse might get fired for not getting the results. And
Upamecano and Sabitzer,
and that might be tragic. You know, they just lost another game to Bayern, and I want this guy to get a chance, but he got promoted, which is what you want. But then
they're not gonna fire him. They probably move him to Red Bull Salzburg or Red Bull.
But that's where he came from, right?
He came from Salzburg. Yeah.
He came from.
I mean,
Salzburg.
he's from that same family, so
yeah.
But then if you don't get the results, you don't get the results. I want him to get the results so he could stay and develop and then one day coach America. But he's in a tough position. I hope they don't hold. Hey, it's like the guys who are going to fire him are the guys that sold the players that he needed before he got there. And
that's what Bayern does. They always buy 1 or 2 players every season, but they buy the best players from the competition. You know, so
go ahead.
With the turnover at Leipzig in terms of managerial turnover, and like we said, losing Upamecano and Sabitzer and the players they've lost prior to that, like I think top 6 is realistic for them this season.
Right.
If they finish outside of that, he'll get fired. But if they fire him for anything less, I think that's harsh.
All right. And what were you going to say, Neil?
I was saying, like, I mean, Bayern does that all the time. We've seen that in the past with Dortmund. But like Leipzig is backed by Red Bull, you know, and they have designs of, you know, being in different pockets of the world in the soccer world. So why would they self-sabotage that way? I mean, there seems to be no desire to create more competition in the league.
Bro, it's not like they need the money.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like when Man City, not Man City. It's like when PSG didn't take the money from Real Madrid for a player they're gonna lose, Mbappé.
Yeah,
it's like you can understand. Anybody else is like, why didn't they take the money? But you're like, these motherfuckers got money. It's like Red Bull. You don't need this money from Bayern. Why don't you remain competitive?
I mean, in a especially, I really like the ecosystem that Red Bull has when it comes to what they're trying to do with their different teams. So I don't think it's really unfeasible. It's probably feasible that in a couple of years they can be a consistent challenger.
But why take the chance when you can do it now? They came second last year.
No, but I'm saying even that they won't be able to do if they keep self-sabotaging this way. Yeah. So, and I look at it's really bewildering because I look at what they're doing. Red Bull in sports is doing in Formula One, where they've looked at Mercedes winning, for the last however many years, and they are really, going full throttle at building a car. Like they are the challengers. Like Max Verstappen, who ties for them, is the next big thing after who's gunning for Lewis Hamilton's crown. And I don't know why they don't have that same zeal to do the same thing like in the Bundesliga. They can really lay down a marker if they do that.
It feels like there's just something illegal going on, or it don't make no sense. I'm with you 100%, man.
I think they got big money for those players there, but I think at the time as well, you need to you take into consideration that the players might have said we want to leave. Because I mean, as a player, there's no real prestige for playing for Leipzig. There's prestige playing for Bayern. It's something you want to do in your career. No one dreams of playing for Leipzig, really.
That's true, but you see how in the Premier League there are clubs like Crystal Palace managed to hold on to Wilfried Zaha for so long, just by pricing him out of a move. I think
the dude is trying to leave. But they should have tried to sell these guys to Premier League clubs or something. Would have made more sense.
Yeah, at least do that.
Yeah,
at least all the Premier League was talking.
I mean, they sold Konate to Liverpool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Bayern is not doing himself a favor.
Yeah, I don't think it helps Bayern too, because having a competitive Bundesliga can really shoot up their broadcast rights. But
there are some competitive teams this season. Wolfsburg is a very competitive team this season.
It's they take
turns. They take turns.
Every time
is early. Leverkusen is competitive. Those are good teams.
It feels like they keep the big guy in the jungle and these smaller animals just fight among themselves. One guy somehow manages to muster some courage to stand up, and Bayern just slaps them away anyway.
Listen, they won Champions League 2 years ago. They win Champions League every few years. I mean, they're fine. They're very well.
We know they're fine, but why do they keep stealing other people's girlfriends?
Because they're okay, show me what you got. Once we feel like you're one of the better players in the league, we'll buy you. Why not? What should they do? Buy players in Brazil
Martin, we understand that, but you're cheapening your league.
So what? They just
and it's not even them cheapening the league. It's the other teams. Like Leipzig doesn't have to do what they just did, and they did it twice in the same season.
Listen, I used to follow Bundesliga religiously. It used to be my league. I used to broadcast it in Poland. I grew up partially in Germany, so I collected kicker season previews since the late 80s. Bayern always did that since the late 80s. They always bought the best players from other teams. And
we know.
But let me finish. Let me finish the point. If I'm running a football club in a good league, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna buy the best players from other clubs that I've seen they can produce on that level, that know the league, they know the circumstances. I'm gonna buy those players because they're already established. They know what they do, and we know what we're getting. There's some teams that like to take risks and bring all those. Even Tottenham, I don't know what Hill can give us at the moment. I don't know what Emerson Royal can give us at the moment, but I would know if we bought, players that already made a mark in the Premier League.
I
would
got to
know what
use
we're
the
getting.
bathroom. I can't hold it any longer. But somebody tell Martin we said that and we understand that.
Yeah, I just made my point.
You're just
clarifying my point.
repeating what
No,
we
I'm just
said.
clarifying my point.
I think we're questioning more about. I think we understand why Bayern would want to do that. I think the question is more about why doesn't Red Bull, stave that off? Like, just hold off. Like, don't let Bayern get away with this. And I mean, from a very selfish point of view, I want the Bundesliga to be more competitive because I want teams like Bayern, when they come to the Champions League, to feel the same rigor of playing over the weekend and on midweek that the English clubs do, which the German clubs never really seem to have that kind of.
They did have the rivalry between Borussia and Bayern Munich for a while, and before that was Bayer Leverkusen was competitive. Bayer Leverkusen was in the Champions League final in 2001, losing by only 1 goal to Real Madrid.
We're talking about like so far back, though.
I mean, listen, the teams take turns. Bayern is the one powerhouse. The other teams take turns. Borussia Dortmund, historically, in the last 20 years, probably 25 years, second best team in Germany. Then you have Bayer Leverkusen. Wolfsburg had some good seasons. I think they won the title in 2008. What else? Stuttgart, no, 2008, Stuttgart, I think, won. 2007, Stuttgart. 2008 was Wolfsburg. 2009 was Bayern again. Because then they bought Podolski, they bought Ribéry and Luca Toni, and they won the league.
Yeah.
Because they didn't win the league in 2 years, so they just bought, some great players, amazing players. By the way, Ribéry is still playing. I just saw him. He plays for Salernitana in Italy. He's 38. He plays for Salernitana. Which is always fun to see those big players at the end of their careers playing for smaller teams.
So you said Buffon's playing for Parma. Yeah. Are they like in Serie A B or something?
They're in Serie B, yeah.
No, it's still
They played last weekend. Serie B. They got relegated this last season.
Oh.
Yeah, he plays Serie B. He played against Frosinone, I think, last weekend.
Yeah, I mean, the Italian league actually seems to be a more competitive league now because there's like a lot of flux and a lot of teams are, around about the same kind of developmental stage. Juventus is like way down in the bottom. I think they've just got 1 point out of 3 games, and they're way below because Roma, Milan, I think they've won all 3, so they're already 8 points below.
Even these Venezia are ahead of Juve. Venezia got their first win this weekend.
Oh, did they? Okay.
They beat Empoli 2-1.
Oh, nice.
Valencia? In
Venezia.
Serie A?
It's a team called Venezia, the team out of
Venezia.
Venice.
Oh, Venezia. Yeah, Venezia.
Did they just get promoted or something?
Yeah.
And they beat who?
Empoli 2-1, but it put them above Juve in the table.
Yeah, because of Szczesny's mistake, and Juve's another blunder. Yeah.
But
Juve is not in a great shape. Juve is struggling. It's a chance for Inter to establish dominance for the next couple of years.
Can they? With the squad that they have left,
sure.
So Lukaku
have the best coach, and
they're in some real financial bother.
Yeah,
it looks like Milan and Roma this season are going to be strong. Napoli again as well.
How crazy would it be if Roma wins?
Oh, that's going to be
insane.
That would just show you that Italy is like Mourinho's spiritual home.
Okay, but will that mean he's back on and get back to the top of like the coaching list?
Yeah. I mean, if you can make Roma win the Serie A, you're back on.
He should stay in Italy, though. That means he's never failed in Italy. He should stay in Italy if he does well there.
I think he was always there, only working there for 2 years, I believe, right?
But this also means that he always starts good early, and this is just you can't trust.
There could be an implosion around the corner.
Yeah.
I remember Spurs were on top of the table for a while. They had like a 2-week-long title challenge.
It was this game against Liverpool. That was this game against Liverpool.
You remember this?
I take 2 weeks.
On Martin's face on the podcast this time last year.
There was this one game against Liverpool that was a pivotal game that we almost won and should have won because Bergwijn missed some amazing chances, and then we lost the game and then we started losing. Yeah, happens.
And Mourinho said that the best team lost.
I don't want to. I don't want to even go back with my memories to Mourinho. And, you know, like, come on, man.
You were the one indulging me like he should be the next Chelsea manager.
No, I was just.
How about he be the next Spurs manager?
That was a joke. That was a joke.
Yeah, Martin, you always saying shit in the chat. You're always instigating in the chat. And now
Martin tried to trigger my PTSD, ended up triggering his own.
Well, you know, for you, there are better memories with Mourinho. I'll tell you that. You have much better memories with Mourinho. You shouldn't be triggered.
Well,
That's hilarious.
Well,
all right, guys.
Coin
let's
has
get
two
out of here.
sides.
Hilarious. I can't think of anything else we should talk about. We have the Champions League games tomorrow. Liverpool versus Milan. I don't think Milan is in any shape to do anything against Liverpool. Sorry about Elliot this weekend. What's Elliot's first? What's his name?
Oh yeah, that was tough.
Yeah, that was tough. Harvey Elliott, but yeah, like he, you know, to start for Liverpool in 2 games like that, like shows how much they believe in you, and you're starting ahead of people like Chamberlain. Is it Chamberlain? Oxlade-Chamberlain, who has played for Arsenal and was on, you know, it's like you zoomed ahead of him, you zoomed ahead of like all the other people that they bought, and you're like, he's playing ahead of Keita, even though it might not be the same midfield position, but it shows how much, you know, Liverpool and Klopp thinks of him. So like speedy recovery, but he's going to be out for a minute, it feels like. But he said the operation went successful today, so he's good. But Liverpool, good win against Leeds, and everybody scored, you know, and Mane scored eventually.
Ian, what did you have to you never really touched upon the biggest news in football this week?
What's
the
that?
Ronaldo comeback at Old Trafford.
It was great, but in the beginning,
Young Boys came.
How it got spoiled by the loss to Young Boys. You know,
that's a different competition. Like in the Premier League, how are you thinking of your chances now with Ronaldo? You know what Ronaldo showed that he can literally turn a game.
See what Neil is trying to do. He's trying to put the pressure on you guys.
Yeah. Nah, Neil, it's not gonna work, bro. You know,
I'm just asking you about Ronaldo.
You're not. You're I see what you're trying to do, bro. It's not happening. This is how I think about.
You won your game.
You want me to answer your question?
Yeah.
What I think about the return of Ronaldo, that Chelsea still should win the league.
Yep.
As should United. Because it seems like we both have got gunmen now in front.
We never didn't have gunmen. We have Cavani. We have Greenwood.
Do you think you'd win that game versus Newcastle without Ronaldo?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Really?
100%.
He scored the first 2 goals. You were 1-0 down.
He scored He scored the first 2 goals because he was the focal point. But Cavani scored goals when we were behind. We just say, hey, Cavani, come off the bench and get in there. Cavani can move in the penalty.
I don't think Cavani can score that goal that he did in the second goal.
He would have scored a different type of goal, but he still.
Martial could score goals too, you know. So.
Well, Martial doesn't even.
Greenwood would have that far. Yeah. I'm not sure about where Martial is scoring wise these days. Like
I think he was a real game changer. I mean, to be very honest, I thought Ronaldo was a real game changer.
No, I would never say he's
in that game. I think what he's shown is.
Yeah, like a week ago,
right? And you're right in the sense that it's not just Ronaldo, but the fact is that United has the kind of attack that can take meandering games into overdrive, you know, just on the flick of a switch. And I think that will help you in a lot of games. It just gives you like a 5 to 6 point, gap where ideally the way the team is playing, you probably shouldn't be getting those points.
The mistake that Newcastle made is they don't press, right? And you have a 36-year-old guy playing mostly in your box. You're not running him ragged. You got him in his comfort zone. Like being in a box and being surrounded by defenders, like would bug people, but that's where he's comfortable. And then he saves his strength the whole game and spurts when he needs to. Even though the second goal showed that he still has
he has the legs.
A lot of pace. He has the legs. I mean, and the composure to bring the ball from his right leg to his second leg while somebody's bearing down on you and keep the speed and keep the ball where you need it to be for you to take that shot that he put in through. There were so many things about that goal that answered so many questions, you know, like, and then the second goal on Match of the Week or Match of the Day, they showed when Greenwood shot the ball where Ronaldo was looking compared to everybody else. And he was looking directly for a rebound. And so therefore he reacted to it first. The defenders didn't react. The defenders had to look at him.
But Ian, even the goal he scored today was a very smart run, very smart decision. He timed the run perfectly. He's gonna score a lot of goals. He's a very smart player.
Yeah, he's a very smart player. And the goal he scored today also proves that anybody's still hanging on that Bruno and Ronaldo can't play together thing. Good luck.
Yeah.
That
was a great assist.
You know, it's funny. We discussed that actually on the chat that Wayne Rooney is 1 year younger than Cristiano Ronaldo, and where's Rooney and where is Ronaldo now?
Yeah, Ronaldo always takes care of himself. So,
well, Rooney looked 22 even when he was 16. So
yeah, he was bald.
It was easy to say that this dude is gonna look old pretty quickly.
But he could. That's how young Rooney hadn't been taking care of his body when he was 16.
He aged, but his game didn't have to age the way it aged. You know.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
You know about Ronaldo's pace. I remember this graphic that they were showing during the Euros. He scored this one goal, and he was clocked at, I think he was the fastest guy in the whole tournament on that run that he made towards. So, I mean, the kind of things that you look at a 36-year-old and say that, he probably doesn't have the physicality or the pace. He's got it both. So he's probably, it's not really a 36-year-old, the way he's taken care of his body.
Right. And here's the metrics of it. Like, it's not only that, say he'd come from the Serie A, right? And played for Man United. Everything that the negative people are saying would have some value. But we're talking about a guy who came from the Serie A, and these people who are doubting him believe in Lukaku, who was second in scoring in the same league behind him last year. So if that alone doesn't tell you, throw your idea of age. And listen, there's a crop of players: Lewandowski, Ronaldo, Messi, and there's some Cavani. Like, the game has changed. Like 30, being on the side of 30, as long as you take care of your body, you're good.
Yeah.
There's players I'm not even mentioning. I can't remember them right now.
Look at Tom Brady, who is different football, but he's 44 and one of the best players.
Exactly.
Well, like Giggs went to almost 40.
41.
Yeah, Sheringham as well.
Yeah. So it's like, if you taking care of your body, take age out of it. Stop well,
medical science has come on since then. Like, they can have fucking cryo treatment and all sorts after games and stuff. It has an effect.
I think Ronaldo sleeps on an iceberg when he comes out of a game.
Apparently, the reports from the training ground, some source leaked this that all the apple custards and the brownies have gone because everybody's trying to impress Ronaldo. Like, nobody's touching them. Nobody's heading towards that second serving of carbs. So I think you'll have way more benefits than just he's gonna do all this goal scoring and stuff, but I think the entire squad, both him and Varane actually, are gonna be lifted by these guys.
Drives the levels up.
Yeah. Like I always wanted us to get a midfielder, but I always felt like the midfielder we needed to have mentality. We can't just get a good player, because there's areas we just lack mentality. So Ronaldo added that mentality. Varane added that mentality. And Bruno has that mentality. Maguire's trying to have that mentality, but you have to live it and prove it. You can't just be like, I got that mentality.
Yeah, so and talking about midfielder, talking about midfielder, I'm just curious when a big team will try to get Phillips from Leeds. When
that's the guy. When I saw Phillips play this weekend, I was like, fuck Rice. I'd rather go to Phillips. Phillips' passing range is ridiculous. It's pinpoint.
He'll be much cheaper too.
And he'd be
Leeds will never in a million years sell a key player like that to Man United, though.
Oh yeah, and he is Leeds. He is born and raised Leeds. He's the Leeds guy.
Yeah, he'll go to Liverpool or City or Chelsea.
Fuck.
But Liverpool don't need him.
You're right. Fuck. Even though we just hooked him up with James. Maybe we're trying to butter him up with the James setup.
But I have a feeling like with
we're
the whole,
friends now.
I have a feeling with the whole midfielder thing at Manchester City that it seems like Ole is probably comfortable with with McTominay, Fred, and the Matic combination, because he's spent a lot of money and he's been here for like over 3 years now. If he's not going to buy a DM, he had enough opportunity by now. So I feel like that's not a priority. Like maybe fans think so, maybe some pundits think so, but I guess from his point of view, it's not really a priority that he's seeking to fulfill.
Yeah, I think you're right. I have a suspicion that he believes and wants to give them a chance, and he doesn't have to win this year because of it, but he has to win something, because everybody will be like, we never fixed that, so that's the problem.
Yeah. One last thing, guys. At the top of championship, guess who? Fulham and West Brom. Boring.
The
boring.
Yeah. I don't know how they do it. And then Scott Parker went from, is he coaching West Brom?
Bournemouth.
Oh, Bournemouth. Oh, okay.
Yeah. West Brom have got Valerian Ismail, who was the Barnsley manager. They gave Chelsea a good game in the FA Cup last season.
Yeah.
Right.
He's a bright coach. He'll be Premier League soon, even if it's not with West Brom.
He's English?
West Brom.
He's English?
He's French-German.
No.
Then he has a chance at the big teams.
Then he has a chance at the big teams. So
Yeah.
you're saying something that me and Lloyd was talking about earlier today, like the Villa coach, right? There's these web publications. They're not really reliable, but they talk about he's going to get fired. What's his name again?
Dean Smith.
Dean Smith. And because his name is Dean Smith, it's an English name, and he's white, and the type of white guy he is. And it was funny that I pointed out to Lloyd, who is black. I said, we're both, I believe in Dean Smith, right? But there are people trying to start a rumor or a movement to get him fired and say he's not good enough and they're not saying it, but it's because he's the type of white English guy he is.
Yeah.
And we made the jokes that he should start using an accent in an interview or having a translator so that he seems more foreign. But it is fucking hilarious that two black guys are defending a white guy from a certain type of racism in football. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
I mean it's more of a stereotyping, I would say, like more than racism. That apparently none of these guys can ever come good. So
this is the irony about Aston Villa. You know, people were like, oh, they bought this guy, they bought this guy, they bought that guy. But the fact is, none of those players is even close to being as good as the guy they sold. So, what do you expect? You sold your best player, but by far better than any player you get.
But if you look at Villa now, they're approaching their whole thing with a plan, and also they started a 17-year-old this weekend, and that 17-year-old has a brother, and there's other young players, and they not only have bought players, but their youth system is set up. And if you get rid of this coach, there's the fear that. But if they're smart enough to do this, they would be smart enough to get someone that's going to use the youth team, right? But this is a whole movement and a plan that they have in place. So I don't think Dean Smith is it Dean Smith. I don't know why I'm blanking on his name.
Dean Smith, yeah,
he's going to go anywhere. Martin, you got any last thing you want to say? We got to get out of here.
No, just wanna praise our wonderful hosts on performing in front of in front of the audience, equal to Southampton home games. So you could, Ian, feel like Che Adams for a night, performing in the forum. Talk about it.
Oh yeah, I did the LA forum with Rogan this weekend. I never dreamed of doing the forum. Like when Dean Del Rey did it, he opened up for Bill Burr, and he's like, I always, I guess a lot of musical artists had played there and stuff before, and I posted on Instagram like there's a wall of that was just one wall of artists. So I was like, hey, I'll just go there, and I always treat every show just like a show, so that it doesn't get too big for me, and so that I can handle the moment. But when I did get there, I did want to do good, and then I fought myself to relax, because I'm always best when I'm relaxed. So I did want to do a good job, and the moment of being at the forum did hit me. And when I think I had a really fun, really good set. I got a lot of compliments from the people there, and the crowd response and DMs after the show. But it was the most tiring 20 minutes of my life, because I spent so much energy trying to make myself relax that when I got off, my back hurt. And it's a good thing they had a massage chair backstage that didn't molest me at some points during the 15-minute massage. But it was a really good, fun night. And shout out and thanks to Joe, and Tony Hinchcliffe did his thing. And we had a good time. This after a pandemic, which I can't say after a pandemic. It was just a fun ass. Everybody was in the mood to have some fun after a pandemic, or before the pandemic starts back up. So yeah, it's fun. Neil, what you got? I mean, Martin. So what you have to close with?
Oh no, that's just bringing up that we have stars on this podcast too, who perform in front of thousands of people, man. And just we don't have to talk only about outside performers. We have inside performers.
Right, cool. I accept that. Neil, what you got? What you want to close with? And you got Martin this weekend.
Oh, that should be fun. I'm half con. I'm like, with Martin, you never know what's coming. So that DM, that chat's gonna be fire.
I think one of you will go missing depending on how the game's going.
I think that's gonna be Martin.
Okay. All right.
Shots fired. Lee, who you got this weekend?
We have Man City away, so pray for us. I can't see it ending well.
Yeah.
You might frustrate them. I hope you do.
I mean,
I'm praying you do. I'm rooting for you.
It'll be interesting to see, because
it's the first season. It's the first season in 3 years you haven't lost 09 yet, right? As the first season in like 3 years you haven't had a loss 0-9, because you had in like two of the last seasons, right?
I don't understand what you're saying.
Oh, a 9-goal loss.
You lost
There's still plenty of time for that to happen.
0-9 in two consecutive seasons. So that's the first season.
We still got plenty of time for that to happen. But I mean, it'll be interesting to see how Hasenhüttl plays it, because we obviously like to press most teams. I don't know if he's got the balls to press City at City, or if he'll play a more pragmatic game, but we'll see. Anything we can get from that game is a bonus. I'm not expecting anything.
I was watching Match of the Day, and it was just the highlights. But some of your young defenders that you were talking about, they seem to be like picking up the game pretty fast. So I don't know if it's just because I've seen highlights, but I saw like what's the young black, the Sisu, something like that. Salisu make some plays. I was like, wait a minute, Salisu, and I thought he wasn't supposed to like be in there so soon and starting and doing his thing. So is that the guy one of the guys you was talking about?
We signed him he played a whole season in La Liga for Valladolid. Okay. And we signed him last season, but we didn't play him for half the year because he was still getting used to the team. And then obviously because Vestergaard left in the summer, it's like that was his spot to take now. We've still not played Lianco, the new Brazilian defender we have as well.
Right. No, we'll see what happens this Saturday. Good luck.
Listen, if Bednarek plays like he played against England, you'll be fine.
Yeah, you still got a Bednarek. Everybody, thanks for listening. Thank you, Aaron Brungardt, for producing the shit out the show. And we have more Champions League tomorrow. Enjoy those games, and more Ronaldo, more Lukaku, and the Premier League this weekend. And I'm all over the place. I'm checking out La Liga games, Bayern, Dortmund, Leipzig games, and there's just so much shit to see, and there's so much fun to be had. Like teams are. There's a lot of teams this year that are going to be completely different next year. They're like, it's almost like for teams like Real Madrid, their transfer window, even though they can't pull triggers right now, they're working on it now. Because imagine like you were broke and over budget, and you get a Pogba, Mbappé, and whoever else. You got a Camavinga for 25 mil, and all that stuff. Plus you just and you're a new team already. You know what I mean? And I don't know what Barcelona is going to do, but they have a young crop of players. But I have there's more hope for Real Madrid than Barcelona right now. But yeah, we'll see what's up. So thanks, guys, again. Martin, I hope Spurs plays better than that Rip Diesel sign on your shirt.
We'll watch the game together.
Yeah, pull up, come through. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. I might come actually for Man U game even before that game, because they're back-to-back games, Man U and Spurs. Yeah.
All right. That's hilarious.
Yeah. So far, I bring you luck. Wherever I watch Man U with you, Man U wins.
Ronaldo brings us luck.
You miss me on the young boys game.
I didn't even see it. I missed the loss. That's what I missed. All right, y'all. Peace. And see y'all next week. See y'all.